What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today's video, as you can see, the topic is Springbok Rugby Director Rassie Erasmus. He's been in the news of late because one, he's destroyed social media on Twitter and he shared videos of his motivational talks to the Springboks. The other part of today's video for Rassie is that there is rumour that he's going to England and that they're currently under discussions. Today's video, we cover it all, so make sure you hit that subscribe button to this channel because it's everything rugby and you don't want to miss it. Let's focus on the videos that Rassie did. The mastermind behind taking a very poor and weak Springbok squad and turning them into world champions. Under the reign of Webb Ellis, South Africa unfortunately weren't at the greatest form. We saw our lowest ranking. We saw poor form. We saw the highest defeats against the All Blacks. Yes, 57-0. We saw our highest defeat against Ireland in Dublin. We also lost to Ireland in South Africa for the first time in quite a number of years. And a lot of the negatives were happening. People were calling for us. He was currently in Munster doing things there. We wanted him to come visit. He then decided to become director. But that wasn't enough. We needed a coach, we needed a mentor. And for those who didn't know of Rassie, obviously it was with Munster, but also way back when, he was with the Cheetahs. And if you're South African, you know this, and I'm sure a lot of the overseas guys might even know this too, is Rassie took the Cheetahs from not the greatest, well, from not winning much to becoming Currie Cup champions. And all done just by genius of his coaching system and his ways of how he deals with players. And he was one of the first to go on top of a stadium roof and wave signals to players on how to approach the game, which confused the heck out of every rugby coach in the Currie Cup players, because no one knew what the heck Rassie was signaling from the top of the stadium. And I mean the top. It was new, it was creative, it was inventive, and it got everyone talking. And that's one thing I remember strongly of Rassie. Now he goes back into his career when he's talking to the Springboks and he's talking about how to be a Springbok, what type of player you need to be as an international player. You need to be an influencer, you need to be a hard worker, you need to be motivated and determined in order to achieve the goals. You've got that desire to play for the Springbok jersey. You're going to be put under pressure. You're going to have all these different things, money coming your way, fans, brands, all that jazz. And the one thing Rassie said that's really stuck with me, which I didn't realize because obviously I was a lot younger, is a guy called Harry Falloon, who was the Springbok coach, came in. And he was a businessman, didn't know really much about rugby. And I think a lot of people are like, how the hell is this going to coach us? And then he kicked Rassie out of the squad. And at the time, Rassie was like, the hell, quite a good player, why am I out? And the players turned around and said, because you are a dickhead. You're an arsehole. And the arrogance took over of him. He allowed those negative pathways of what leads us, whether it's money or fame or popularity, or becoming a first team player. He let that all get to his head. And he himself said, I was a dickhead. And hence why he got kicked out and lost his position. What that taught that man was how to develop and change your attitude and grow into a one decent player with respect and a human being, which led him into becoming a phenomenal rugby coach. To take the Cheetahs to Currie Cup victories, to do well with Munster, to come over to South Africa and totally transform a rugby team that was down in the dumps to becoming #1 in the world. It just shows the mastermind behind Rassie Erasmus. And in his interview in the final, he said, it's up to these players, but they need to go out there and do what's necessary. He said, yes, there was hope. We were doing it for the country. We were doing it But in order to do all those things, these guys need to play to the best of their ability. They need to do what they are here to do their job. So Peter Steff needs to make the tackles and defend well. The line-up boys need to do that. Your kickers need to do that. In order to win a World Cup, you've got to do the best that you can. And if you don't, you get back up. You lift yourself up. You do not walk into that dressing room at the end of the game with your head down. That was one of his rules. Keep up. Keep motivated. And look where the Springboks got to. They kept motivated. They kept pumped. He clearly picked out Peter Steff to toy. ILB Player of the Year. He went for Sia. Come on, you are a guy from the township in Zwede. Go be that hero. Go be that person to inspire. We're still talking about Sia. Mapimpi, Lucanio Fafi, all of these players had a role to play from an inspirational point of view and as well as their job point of view. And they fulfilled that because of the leadership and the greatness of a coach like Rassie Erasmus, who built them, motivated them. That's the power of what a good coach can do. We've seen it with the All Blacks, with the Graham Hendricks, the Steve Hansons. We've seen it with the Crusaders, Scott Robertsons, Ireland, Joe Schmidt. We've seen good stuff from Scotland. We've seen Eddie Jones, whether you like him or not, do wonders with England. We've seen greatness. Warren Gatland taking Wales to 10 years of greatness. Yes, there are ups and downs, but I mean, the past 2018-19 year for Wales was phenomenal. Credit to your coach. And there are many other coaches that are missing out, but they are phenomenal talent. And if you have the right coach and you get the team to gel with the coach, boys and girls, you are going to go far. Brings me to the next topic. Will Rassie drop South Africa and leave to go coach England? He was at the game between England and Scotland that took place this past weekend, and there's talks that Rassie was having negotiations and all that stuff to drop South Africa and replace Eddie Jones after the 2021, or when his contract ends. Rassie's contract is also due to end as director before the World Cup as well. But he's turned down those rumours because he said he could never do a motivational talk for another team in a final like he did the one for the Springboks, which pretty much states, sorry chaps, I'm sticking with my boys. He's formed a phenomenal coaching staff. He's got a good coach in Jacques, who he's been with for a long time, and he's still the lead at the helm. We might say we don't have Rassie. Rassie's the director. He's there. He's still calling the shots. He's telling Jacques what to do. So we still have the power of Rassie, and then Jacques, and then his boykies that's under him, the Dion Davids, and Stick, and all the two new chaps as well. So Rassie Erasmus isn't going to England, and I hope for the next World Cup he's not there either. I want him in South Africa because he's built something special, and he's an intelligent bloke, and I do not see him leaving us. But who knows? Anything can happen. But for me personally, Rassie is staying in South Africa. He's not going anywhere. He's a great coach. He is the mastermind. And England, nice try. But you got a good coach in Eddie. I'm still nervous of him, and I still see him as a major threat. But for now, we'll keep our hands on Rassie. He's not going anywhere. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you are new. I'll see you real soon for another one. Stay safe and never give up. Cheers.